Kamen Rider Geo is one of those seasons of Toku that has a lot of mixed aspects in it. The story is a bit whack, and we've got characters that are hit or miss, but we've also got some really great writer tributes and some really interesting ideas. And of course, there's the really fantastic suits in the show. The base forms are fine, but we have stuff like Geo 2, Gates Revive, Waz Ginga Finally, and the Golden Boys. However, I'd say one of the most standout aspects of the season aesthetically has been the Another Riders. The monsters of this season are literally monstrous versions of all the past primary Kamen Riders and new original Kamen Riders, including details in their designs that references not only their own designs, but also the designs of their respective monsters. It's very cool. It makes all of these monsters feel very distinct from each other. I think that the concept is great, and it's really strange that it hasn't been done until now. This is why today I'm going to be ranking all of these Another Rider designs from least favorite to favorite in my opinion. I made a poll about rankings I should do, and this video got second place, but you guys have been much more vocal about wanting to see this video than the one that actually won, so I had to make it, especially to thank you guys for the recent subscriber milestones. More on that at the end. This list will only be using the Another Riders we saw during Geo's run, so Another Riders in movies and the show, of course, will be on the list, but if any V Cinema Riders appear, they won't be on this specific list because it would have come out after I recorded this video. Be sure to follow me on Twitter if you want to get sneak peeks at this video and hear any more of my thoughts, and join the channel Discord server where you can talk with me and other Tokusatsu fans as well. Also, as I mentioned, this list is based on my opinion, so please don't get angry at me and other fans for having a different list than you. Let's just be civil about it and all get along. We all have different opinions. That is what makes these conversations interesting. So now let's get into the list with number 26. Coming in last place, we have Another Kikai. I don't really like this suit at all. The wooden textures is just really kind of disgusting to me, and I don't really like the general look of this guy. He's too clunky to me, too bulky, and in the head there's nothing really going on. It's just some sticks cobbled together. They could have done something more interesting to reference the Kikai suit, which I actually do quite like, so this suit is overall a little bit disappointing. In second to last place, we have Another Kuga. What I will say is that this isn't far down because it's just CG, and it's not great looking CG. I just don't really like the design of this thing. It's just a big, disgusting looking insect, and I know the point of Another Riders are supposed to look disgusting, but some of them pull it off quite well. This one does not. The red on the chest feels very tacked on. It doesn't feel like a natural part of this Another Rider. It kind of feels like he's wearing a really tight t-shirt. But I will say that cool aspect of this is the head. I think the Another Kuga head would work very well if it was on an actual Another Kuga suit. A Kuga form that does work in my opinion is Ultimate Kuga. It's basically the same problems I have with the normal Kuga, except this one has the improved aspect where there's no weird red on it, so it feels much more unified and better, but it still has the same problems I had with the original Kuga. Also, I will point out, not really a problem, but Another Ultimate Kuga does not have gold in the belt. So yeah, there's that. Next up, we have Another Ghost. I like the ideas they're going with here, where it's a leather-clad version of Kamen Rider Ghost to connect with the base form's use of normal cloth for all the hoodies. This one feels more like a biker aspect of that. But one of the weirdest parts is the hair. Why does this guy have hair? It might be something to do with Ganma, but I don't think Ganma had hair. So there's just some weird hair on this suit, and it feels really off for me. Speaking of strange fur, we have Another Oz. Another Oz also has the same problem as Another Ghost in that it has this weird fur on its neck and arms. But I will say that's not an aspect that really draws me away. What does draw me away with this form is the weird wings at the back of its head. It's probably meant to reference Putotira with its weird wings on that form as well. And if you saw my ranking video of final forms, you would know I wasn't particularly fond of those wings. The same applies here. But if those wings were removed, I actually quite like the rest of this suit. So it was really a few small aspects that really made this suit go really far down. Next up, we have another Agito. Now, I think this suit is really far down because it's an already existing suit in Kamen Rider. They took the old Another Agito suit from the original Kamen Rider Agito and just put 2019 Agito on it. So this really just looks like a solid suit because it's just a rider form for a character. It has a belt. In the show, they didn't even give an explanation for why this looks like another Agito. It just exists as another Agito. This form is probably lower on the list because of its concept in the show, maybe not the visuals itself. A suit that I think was done well in concept but not visuals is another Kiva. For the most part, this suit does look just like normal Kiva, and that's probably because Kiva has some connections to the Fangirers. But the thing that really draws this suit low for me is the whole helmet. The helmet does not look good in my opinion. The horns are way too tall. The eyes feel really strange where they're broken up to bring in the stained glass aspect. The eyes just feel really glued in place, and the mouth is just really strange for me. I can't tell if it's open or closed half the time because there's like 50 million teeth there. Bringing us into the top 20, we have another X8. Now, many of you probably know that I love the X8 aesthetic, so that's why I find it really off-putting when it's turned on its head like this. This is a terrifying look for X8. In a strange way, there is more neon green than the normal X8 suit, and that helps to differentiate this. But once again, I will say the weirdest part is the head for me. The mouth is just kind of creepy. The hair is really strange. The eyes are strange. The whole helmet is really weird. However, I do like the possible reference to Hyper Muteki with the dreadlocks. That is pretty cool, but this isn't Hyper Muteki, so why are there dreadlocks on a base X8 suit? Another design that is similar to the base form it's based off of is another Geo. I think there are certain aspects of this suit that I like more than the original Geo suit. I really like the top part of the suit where we have this metal aspect going on, kind of making this guy look like a robot, especially in the head where we have this creepy mouth, creepy eyes, but it's all hidden behind this apparatus. So it seems almost like this is a cyborg put into a robot body. Probably some symbolism with Geo that I can't think of off the top of my head right now. I also like the use of a black Jiku driver and the fact that this another rider actually henshin's by putting the watch on his waist as opposed to just holding it in the air. Other than that, there's nothing too stand out about this suit, but I do like certain aspects of it and I think it's pretty cool. I think right now we're on a roll with monster designs that are very similar to their base forms. Another Hibiki follows the same aesthetic. It looks very similar to the normal Hibiki suit, but there are certain aspects that are changed so it feels more monstrous and more like an Oni in the case of Hibiki. Of course, we have the big terrifying mouth with the big fangs, but I like how they didn't go out of their way to add little eyes like some of the other suits and would probably ruin this suit. Instead, we actually keep what Hibiki has where we just have the red forming a suggested eye. Up next, we have another rider suit that got a repaint, another Shinobi. I love the base Shinobi design, so naturally I would like this another rider design, and I do quite like it. I like that we have some more samurai aspects going on with the helmet and the weird claws on his arms and the more armored aspect of this character as opposed to Shinobi being more sleek and agile. And I like that the name and year on this character are actually written in Japanese writing as opposed to English to signify that this is a ninja character. Really cool designs, really cool changes, and it makes this suit work very well. At number 15, we have the first Another Rider, Another Build. As the first Another Rider, Another Build doesn't really go all out with its designs. It stays very close to the normal build aesthetic, and I think it works in its favor here. The base build suit is very nice looking, so just taking that and making it more monstrous looking makes this guy look very nice looking. The strangest part for me though is the blue. In some lightings, it looks more teal as opposed to dark blue like the normal build suit. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but it is something that I find a little bit strange, but it's not a big aspect as to why the suit is so low. It's just that once again there's nothing too much going on, but I think it does work well enough. Another rider that doesn't have too much going on but works is another Double. This is once again where the colors feel a bit strange. Double is green and black. This one goes with a more turquoise and black, and it makes it feel a little off, and it's why I put it a little bit lower. But other than that, this suit is really cool. I like that we added these crazy spike designs and other stuff like that where the normal colors are on the normal double suit. It's a very nice touch. And of course, as you may know, the best part of this suit is, in my opinion, the concept, because the helmet is a Kamen Rider Joker and a Kamen Rider Cyclone stapled together that makes the another double face. That is terrifying, and it's also pretty awesome. Speaking of a terrifying another rider, we have another Blade. I'm just gonna say right now, the helmet on this guy terrifies me, and that's probably why I put it so high. The eyes are scary on this thing. It looks like one of those scared demons that's doing what it does out of necessity, and it adds this edge, no pun intended, to the suit. Speaking of edge, I like the use of making the spread out cards on the blade an actual saw blade. That's a very clever touch. I also just like how big and bulky this suit design is. This feels like a hulking beast of a suit, and it really makes it feel powerful, and it certainly is, as it almost caused the Day of Oma in the show. Speaking of the Day of Oma in the show, we're back to another Geo, this time in his Geo 2 form. This is basically the base Geo form, so take everything I said with that form and basically apply it here, except now we have the added gold and the added spikier shoulder pads and helmet, and it just improves this suit so much. The gold automatically puts it above the normal Geo suit, but the shoulder pads also give it this more sleek and angular aspect that the normal Geo suit doesn't have. My only complaint may be that there aren't 2 ride watches in the Black Jiku driver as opposed to 1. Okay, now it's time to go back to terrifying looking another riders with another quiz. Once again, we're going to talk about this guy's eyes. His eyes are literally 2 white dots that are placed in a black space in the middle of an orange brain. That's just creepy, really. And when we move on to the rest of the suit, you see that there are more of these brain aspects to go with Quiz, and it just kind of adds this really sinister feel, almost like these brains are the brains of his victims from failed experiments, much like the scientist that he is supposed to be. Of course, he also just benefits from using the base color scheme of Quiz with the red and blue, and now some added gold bits that make it look really nice. And I will say that this suit probably works better than the normal Quiz suit because there's not a ton of question marks placed all over his body. Bringing us into the top 10, we have another Forze. Once again, this is another rider sign that isn't trying to do much but just be a monstrous version of its rider, and it works really well here. The Forze helmet here is actually very cool looking in my opinion now, as opposed to being terrifying, especially with the change of red eyes from orange eyes. I also like the use of the monstrous Forze driver that actually looks better than the normal Forze driver if I'm being honest, and the orange and red flows together very nicely and also creates this differing aspect from the original Forze suit. There's also another interesting aspect of this suit that I will get into later on the list. Because next up, we have another Ryuga. The Ryuga suit is no slacker. This guy looks so cool. It's obviously a very simple color scheme, it's just black and gold, but it works very well here, especially because of the details. That helmet looks so cool with all of the lines representing the vent lines on the original Ryuga suit, all of the detail on the dragon hand, on the shoulder pads. This suit is so detailed, much like the other suits, but in this case, I think the color scheme also propels it very far. With another Ryuga probably settling you down, it's time to go back into a terrifying another rider with another wizard. This guy has no eyes, much like the normal wizard suit, so I guess that works well. Of course, this suit is very high up because red, but I like the general design of this guy once again more than the normal wizard suit. It might be the added trench coat that actually fades into black that adds this nice aspect, along with the helmet resembling this crushed ruby, much like the wizard suit just being a ruby. And I also like the wizard driver hand is now a gold skeleton hand as opposed to just a normal hand. There are once again changed aspects here from the normal suit it's based off of, and it works really well here. It makes this another rider look terrifying but really cool. Now we have what may be the most underwhelming another rider, but certainly not in design, another Decade. The standout aspect here is of course the helmet with the weird crest coming off of it. I'm not sure what they're going with that, but it looks really cool. It really adds this different aspect to the suit from the normal Decade suit and all the other another riders, and as opposed to some other suits, I think it works very well here, especially with the green on it to kind of make it look like this transference of the eyes on the suit as opposed to just something there. Much like the Armor Time of Decade, this Another Rider is kind of just a big bulked out version of the normal Decade with some added aspects, since we have more of the lines going across his body and shoulder pads and arms and legs all across his body. And we also have those weird little triangle designs as a trench coat for the suit, which looks really cool and adds to this menacing aspect of the suit and also ties it into the character that transforms into him. Not far ahead of Ryuga is his counterpart, Another Ryuki. Obviously, I like this suit more than Ryuga because of the red, and that's basically it. This is pretty much the same thing as the Ryuga suit, except since red is my favorite color, the red just adds to this character a lot more in my opinion. The helmet is also different as well. As you'll notice, this one has more openings to represent the eyes of the normal Ryuki suit a bit more, but in this case I actually kind of like it more than what's done with the normal Ryuki suit, because here it doesn't feel as heavy-handed. Everything about this suit feels very detailed, very cool, and with some added red, it's in 6th place. Bringing us into the top 5 is Another Gaim. Man, oh man, does this guy look really cool. They basically took the armored samurai aspect of the normal Gaim suit and just kind of upgraded it a ton more. Now we have all these massive armor pads, tons more than the original Gaim suit, basically making this look more like Hachidoki in silhouette, and it looks so cool. The oversized Dai Maru is also really cool in my opinion. Once again, helps to set this guy apart, but also kind of brings a little connection to the Muso Saber combined with the J-Gun. And we have the helmet, which also looks very cool, but still looks very reminiscent of the normal Gaim suit, with the symbol sticking out of its head and the visor plate. What I will say, not enough to knock this suit very far down. In some lightings, the orange looks more yellow, and it makes this character look more like a Jimber Lemon Gaim as opposed to just Orange Arms Gaim. But on the ride watch, you can see it is orange. So I'm not sure what's going on with the colors here, but I still think that from a design perspective, this suit is really cool. Next up, we have Another Phase. Remember what I said about Another Forze having a similarity later on the list? Here it is. Another Forze and Another Phase actually share the same base suit, as you can see, since Another Phase has Forze module pads on his body in a strange twist, but since they do share similar aspects, the one that is more red would naturally be higher on the list. This suit just feels very nice and sleek, and it's really enunciated by the red going across the body. That all ties together very nicely, just like the base Phase suit. Another aspect from the base Phase suit that I really like is the helmet, and this really adds onto that helmet. I like the use of giving the eyes their own kind of detail now. It kind of looks like this living aspect in the character, and I also do like that the mouth isn't very defined, so it still kind of looks like there's just a mouth plate there like the normal Phase suit. Overall, there's not much to this suit design, but it's very nicely designed, and because of that, it's very high up on this list. In 3rd place, we have one of the most recent Another Riders to debut, Another Drive. So the Drive base suit is just fantastic, so the Another Rider suit would naturally be fantastic as well, and it certainly is. The red, of course, is just amazing on the suit design, especially with all the detailed aspects of it. The shin guards aren't just flat pieces like on the normal Drive suit. They actually went out of their way to make it this crazy design. He has a door just stapled to his left hand as this kind of shield gun thing, and that's really cool. And it actually adds to this other aspect of the suit that I quite like, which is it looks like he was stuck in a car crash, which is kind of a terrifying thought, but it's also really cool. Another creepy part of this guy is the helmet, because in a reference to Cho Dead Heat form, he's missing his left eye plate, and as such you can just see his eye. Now, that's probably my least favorite aspect of this. I would have liked if we had a normal Drive helmet, but the reference is cool, and the helmet has grown on me much more than I liked it originally, but overall I will say this suit is really, really cool. There's a trend here, and you've probably noticed it, because in 2nd place we have Another Kabuto. Let's get this out of the way right now. The red is, of course, why it is so high, but that's not the only part of it. The blue in the eyes also stands out so well. It looks so cool, and it really makes this guy stand out. Along with that, in the rest of the helmet, it has this strange Shogun aspect, and it looks really cool. It makes this guy look menacing, and in the shoulder pads, we also have some nice details as well. On the right shoulder pad, we have what seems to be maybe a Kabuto horn or something to that effect, but on the left side we have this more detailed, cool looking shoulder pad with some legs, it seems, sticking out, and that's really creepy. We have this leg motif kind of carrying out throughout the whole suit, and it kind of makes this look like a living insect rider as opposed to a man-made insect based rider, both of which are cool. But since we're ranking in other riders, this guy comes in at 2nd place and just really looks awesome. But bringing us into first place, we have another Deno. This guy just looks so cool in my opinion. Obviously, the red is a main aspect, but I really like the changes from the normal Deno suit with this character. We have stylized train tracks running across his body. We have stuff similar to that going down from his chest. We also have little mini versions of his sword on his thighs, but we also have big crazy aspects on the top half of the body. The shoulder pads are just massive on this guy, and I really like them. They really add to the silhouette of the character, and they really just look cool in my opinion. And then moving up from that, we have the eyepieces, which are just so protruding, so defined, and it's really this nice upgrade, quote unquote, from the normal Deno suit that really adds to the monstrous aspect of this form, but also still makes it look like the normal Deno. And to add to that, those horns have gold lines going through them that look really cool. It's a small detail they didn't have to do, but they did do it, and it looks so much cooler because of that. One thing I will say, and it's not a complaint, it's just a question, what's going on with his driver? Because it doesn't look like the Deno driver, and it doesn't look like any driver I've seen. Not a complaint, the gold really stands out with it, but it's just something I've been wondering, and maybe you guys have an answer, because overall, I love the Another Deno suit design, and it's my favorite of all the Another Rider suits. That's my ranking of all the Another Riders in Kamen Rider Geo. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this was a heavily requested video, so when I finally got around to making it, I wanted to dedicate it to 5,000 subscribers. And now when this video is coming out, I'm past 6,000 subscribers. I asked whether or not I should do this video or the Geo review first. You guys said I should do the Geo review, so I did that. And now here's this video. And now it's a joint 5,000, 6,000 subscriber special milestone. That is just crazy. This recent growth has been insane to me. I can hardly believe it, especially with the part I can really hardly believe, which is all the support. Every video, every community post, every tweet, every conversation. There are those of you that compliment the stuff I do, comment on the stuff I do, and are just so supportive about it. Even if you aren't exactly obvious with it, even just a comment about the topic of the video, a like, or even a view just means so much to me. You took the time out of your day to see what I've been up to, my crazy opinions and ideas. I don't do YouTube full time. I'm still in school. I also play a sport and do other extracurricular activities, which is why I'm not as consistent as I would like to be, but I love doing it. It's a lot of fun, and you guys being so supportive about it just makes the experience just that much more amazing. So thank you guys so much for 5,000 subscribers, now 6,000 subscribers, and here's to where we'll go in the future. So I just wanted to do a little extra segment from that heartfelt segment to say that obviously since growth is kind of getting a little bit out of hand than I thought it would, I'm not going to be making specials for every subscriber milestone now. I'll try to do live streams as much as I can when I hit a milestone, and maybe when a video comes out around the milestone, I'll also just dedicate it to that milestone, such as thank you for 6,000 subscribers, and just throw that in a video. But I'm not going to be doing dedicated specials unless we actually hit 10,000 subscribers, and I didn't even think I'd hit 1,000, so 10,000 seems like a very real possibility. If we do hit 10,000 subscribers, that's when the next big subscriber special will be. So hey, maybe leave some suggestions what I could do for that if you have any, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.